Welcome, everyone, to Carlsbad, New Mexico. Time for Hobbs Eagle Baseball, live on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, on YouTube, on the Hobbs Sports page. This afternoon, we're at Tom Forney Field in Caveman Land. Final regular season two-game stand against Carlsbad. It will be the home game for the Cavemen here tonight, and they've moved up Friday's game to Wednesday, as that will be the second game. There's going to be some weather coming through possibly Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week, so they wouldn't move it up just so they wouldn't have a rain out on Friday. So that will be tomorrow. 5 o'clock first pitch, 4:45 pregame will be the second game of this series. Tonight will be the first one as scheduled. Eagles, of course, coming off the two-game matchup with Clovis last week. Eagles did lose the second ball game 6-2 after winning the first one at home. So they split with Clovis. Right now, the Eagles sitting at 2-2 on the district schedule at this point. They are currently second. Of course, Carlsbad, the team they're playing here tonight, 4-0, undefeated at this point. And Clovis sets at 1-3 and Roswell at 1-3. So Eagles would try to like to get away from two losses in this series and on this week, because right now there's a kind of a logjam in terms of the playoffs. 16 teams will make it. A lot of teams around the 500 mark, a few above 500 that are actually lower ranked than the Eagles. But if you go down 12-14 at the end of the regular season, it's going to be tougher to make your case. Of course, so the Eagles have the second best strength of schedule in the state of New Mexico. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But going back to the series with Clovis, the Eagles and the Wildcats in that second game, that was on Friday, 6-2 final in that one. Both teams only getting 5 hits apiece. Eagles hit 192, and Clovis not much better at 200. So not a lot of offensive production in that ball game in terms of the actual hits in the game. But for the series, Hobbs went 24 of 62, so 24 total hits and batted .387, which was better than Clovis. They had 19 hits, 5 less, and 63 at-bats, one more than the Eagles did. They only hit .301, so .387 to .301, and they did split the series, as I just mentioned seconds ago. In that game, too, the big difference was the strikeouts. Hobbs had 11 guys go down on Ks, only 3 for Clovis. Clovis also got 6 base runners due to walks. Hobbs got 0 in the walk category. And really defensively not an issue for Clovis in this when it was for Hobbs. 5 errors in that game. Hobbs had 5 errors. Clovis was 0. So differences in walks, differences in Ks, and differences in errors, all an advantage of Clovis to get the 6-2 win. And again, the Eagles got the first win, so the split goes 1-1 in that series. So that kind of gives you kind of a taste of what was going on. But nobody got multiple hits against Clovis in Game 2, although 2 home runs. Jason Fuentes, 1 for 3, had the RBI home run. He hit it for himself. Nobody on the bases, unfortunately. Luke Parrish also got a home run. He went 1 for 3 with an RBI score for himself in that ball game. John Curtis got a triple. He went 1 for 3. Also, it was Tristan Montez 1 for 3 with a single. And that's pretty much it. Those were the 5 hitters. Again, nobody with multiple hits at that point in the game. For the series, a lot of guys do getting multiple hits in 2 games. Jason Fuentes went 5 for 8. Luke Parrish went 4 for 8. It was also a couple of hits for Braden Dunlap, the freshman. He went 2 for 4, including a home run. Hernandez went 3 for 7. Tristan Montez 4 for 6. John Curtis got a couple of hits, 8 at-bats, and Cole Kester finished up 2 for 7 against the Clovis Wildcats. A single hit apiece for Carson Phipps, 1 for 5, and Jaden Taylor went 1 for 5. And those numbers don't sound too good in the second game, just the 5 hits. But, of course, the first game, 19 hits versus Clovis. And, again, they batted .527 in Game 1 of that two-game stand, .387 again overall in terms of complete average in the 2 contests. So that's where it sits at this point. Those 2 teams at the bottom right now, Roswell and Clovis, both have 1-3 records. So they definitely a very important matchup for them. They're trying to bounce Hobbs out of that second spot. And the Eagles are trying to stay hopefully above 500 with either a win or 2 wins, of course, in this series. If they do get just the 1-1 split, they will end up 500 as they enter into the decision by the New Mexico Activities Association about who the playoff teams will be. So, and that will happen at the conclusion of the regular season. Again, tomorrow's game is going to be a change up from Friday. There will be no Friday game this week. Hobbs will host Carlsbad at Sportsman's Park on Wednesday. That was approved today, in case you hadn't heard. The Carlsbad Cavemen, again, 4-0 in district, 24-10 total runs scored against Roswell, won 13-1, and then also 11-9. So the second one, pretty close game. First one, a blowout for Carlsbad. The closer series, though, was Clovis. The Cavemen won the first game, a close one, 3-1, and then the second one, 14-13, and a combined 27 runs in that contest. So they outscored Clovis just by 3 runs, 17-14. But again, all 4 victories puts them at the top of the leaderboard. Last year they went 6-0 in district. They were the only team to qualify for the playoffs out of the 4-team district, but they lost in the first round, 2-1 to Cibola. Carlsbad was the 3rd seed, and Cibola at 14, so pretty big upset there. Carlsbad was hosting that series here in Caveman Land. So again, once you get to the playoffs, you got to get 2 of 3 to move on to the quarterfinal round of that 16-team bracket. Again, all these teams will find out later in the weekend which teams will be punching their ticket for the state playoffs. And the Eagles still in contention right now. Current Max Preps poll, they beat Clovis that first game last week and dropped 1 spot to 11, and that's where they stay up into this game today. So nothing has changed really for Hobbs in that situation. Carlsbad remains at number 6 in the Max Preps poll with that 14-10 record. They have the toughest strength of schedule in the state in the 5A right now at 16.9 according to Max Preps. I mentioned before, Hobbs at number 2 toughest strength of schedule at 15.1. So that's a cap off to both the programs playing some tough tournaments to start the year and taking on a lot of the top-ranked teams in the state. Cleveland still sits at number 1, 21-3. Piedra Vista's got the same record now, number 2 at 21-3. Rio Rancho 3rd, 20-4. La Cueva 4th at 21-3. And Centennial number 5 at 21-2. You start to see a little bit of drop-off in losses after that. Carlsbad only 4 games above 500. Again, their strength of schedule kind of gives you an explanation of why that is at 14-10. El Dorado at number 7 at 19-4. Mayfield 8, 16, 6-1. Oregon Mountain comes in at 9 at 15-8. And Los Lunas, the number 10 team, at 14-9. Now the other teams in contention for playoff spots, 11 through 16 at this point: Hobbs, Las Cruces, Volcano Vista, Clovis still, Rio Grande, and Cibola. I would even make an argument, too, that Sandia is still kind of hovering around at 13-11. Cibola, by the way, they are the only other team on the whole top 16 that is under 500 at 10-14, but they do have a strength of schedule of 14.9. So being under 500 doesn't help your cause, but having a good strength of schedule and some tough competition might give you a bonus point here or there to move up. So, again, being above 500 would just pretty much be a goal for Hobbs in this one. They won't be the district champs, although with the 4 complete wins for Carlsbad at this point, but they can still get themselves in a better position. Currently, again, at number 11 at this point in time. Clovis, again, 14. Roswell kind of hurt at this juncture at number 20 on the list. Again, the top 16 teams will make it to the first round, the best 2 of 3. Kind of ironically, too, both these squads come in both with 9 seniors. So a lot of guys with some experience on their squads. Carlsbad has 5 juniors. The Eagles have 3. 3 sophomores for the Cavemen, 1 for Hobbs, and 2 freshmen. No freshmen on the roster for Carlsbad as we get ready for this game, the first of a 2-game banger here, 1 here in Carlsbad and then 1 in Hobbs tomorrow, I should say. I was going to say Friday, but it is tomorrow, as I mentioned before. Of course, Coach Marco Boyle for the Hobbs Eagles and Coach Mike McGahey for the Carlsbad Cavemen. Again, we are here at Tom Forney Field. Should be a nice one. A little bit of cloud cover somewhat, wispy clouds, not heavy-duty stuff. And the winds are blowing, looks like about 10, 15, gusts about 20 miles per hour here in Carlsbad. Weather should hold off okay tomorrow, and that's why they're playing it. But then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're expecting, especially Friday, a pretty good drench of rain, high in the low 50s, I think I was seeing for the Friday-Saturday forecast. So definitely going to be a big change, and not quite done with April yet. It looks like some more showers in the forecast. Your Hobbs Eagles on the season in terms of their bats at this point are currently hitting at .319 for the season. A total of 200 hits. They got their 200th against Clovis on Friday night. And 44 doubles, 7 triples, and 21 home runs. The leader in the home runs so far with 5 is Hernandez. And then coming in at number 4 is Kestner. So those 2 guys combined 9 of the 21 total home runs. A couple other guys with multiples. Dunlap has 2, the freshman. Curtis has 2, so does Montez and Greben. Hobbs Eagles have managed to pick up 88 walks this season. And they do have 1 guy with double digits. That's Fuentes. He's got 11 so far. And they are announcing the starters here. Hobbs going to wear their gold uniforms, black numbers and white pants, black helmets. And the home team, Carlsbad, with the white uniforms and blue lettering, blue helmets. And that's pretty much it that they have for the uniforms for both of these squads. We're going to take a look down at the starting lineups, making sure everybody's in the right order here. For the Carlsbad Cavemen, it'll be Venegas at first, Eloy Lopez at second, and E.Z. Lopez at third. Davis is the shortstop. Carter the catcher for the Cavemen. And from left to right, right in the left field, that's kind of ironic, Herrera center and Espinda in the right field. For your Hobbs Eagles, it'll be Kestner at first, Taylor second, Dunlap at third, Fuentes the shortstop, Hernandez is the catcher. Left to right in the outfield, Curtis, Phillips, and Parrish. It's going to be Wade Cozart pitching for the Cavemen. He is a sophomore, one of their better arms on this team. And for your Hobbs Eagles, Alan Udahara, one of the guys they go to throughout the season for the Hobbs Eagle pitching corps. Udahara's got a 3-2 record right now, his 10th ball game this year that he's appeared on the mound, and has a 5.89 ERA. So it should be a nice little battle here. Hobbs want to pick off at least one, but love to have two to go two above 500. Last year, Carlsbad did win the district at 6-0, and they had a couple of wins against the Eagles, 6-0 and 13-3. So outscored the Eagles 19-3 in those two games of the series. And then we mentioned Carlsbad was the only team from the district go on to the playoffs and lost in the first round in the best 2 of 3 to Cibola. So Hobbs and Carlsbad live here on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. We will take a 2-minute break. Get ready for the first pitch. Your Hobbs Eagles will be at the plate. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on Cool 95.7, the Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports page. Back live here in Carlsbad, your Hobbs Eagles final regular season matchups with Carlsbad. And the Cavemen will be the defensive team, as we mentioned, the sophomore Wade Cozart on the mound. Eagles will start in the batting order, Jaden Taylor, Jason Fuentes, Jaden Hernandez, and Cole Kestner. As you mentioned right before the break, Eagles on the season batting .319. Hobbs coming in with a record of 12-12, 500, 2-2 in district, and Carlsbad at 14-10, 4-0 in district. Carlsbad number 6 in the Max Preps poll. Your Hobbs Eagles at number 11. So Hobbs could get a 4-2 record with the couple of wins here. Have a split would make it 500 at 3-3, and then again, a split also would make it 500 for their overall record as well. Jaden Taylor, the second baseman, will be the first up for the Eagles. Taylor batting .371 this season. He's had 26 hits, 18 for RBI scoring, 7 doubles, and 2 triples. He's one of only about 3 players so far, make it 4, that have not had a home run this season, 21 total for the Eagles. And also in terms of on-base percentage, Taylor at 45%, one of the better numbers on the season. We'll take a quick break. We got to change in the lineup. We'll be back right with you here. Hobbs versus Carlsbad. Welcome back to Carlsbad. We just had a roster change. Jaden Taylor is out with an injury, so he has been replaced by Dunlap, the freshman, who was the third baseman. He's going to be playing second in this ball game, so sorry about that pause there. Definitely want to make sure that was all correct. Fastball down the middle for the strike. So, again, Taylor is out for this game. Not sure what his prognosis will be later on. Dunlap batting .500 this season. His 9th appearance at the plate. He's got 4 hits with 2 runs scored, 4 RBIs, and 2 homers as a freshman. So pretty good numbers. He's come in several times in games and hit some big ones for the Eagles. Full count now to Dunlap. Fastball misses a little low for the ball. Once again, we just barely got a change on the schedule right before getting ready for the first pitch here. Dunlap had us fill in at the top spot. Fastball down the middle off the edge of the bat. Got to go in the middle of the backstop for the foul. Just starting here at Tom Forney Field in Carlsbad, game 1 of the 2-game set. Tomorrow the Eagles will be at home at Sportsman's Park to take on these Cavemen for the final game of the regular season. Roswell and Clovis going at it tonight as well, and they'll have another game. I'm not sure what they're going to do about their second game, though. Fastball at the end of the back and a roll towards the second base between first and second. Picked up and firing to first is Eloy Lopez, connecting Venegas. A 4-3 for out number 1 on the ground out by Dunlap. Jason Fuentes now the shortstop for the Eagles up on the plate. Fuentes batting .368, has 28 hits, 20 RBIs, and 21 runs. So 20s across the board there. 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. 1 down for the Eagles here in the top of the first. Pitch coming on the fastball right down the pike for the strike. Again, the sophomore Wade Cozart on the mound for the Cavemen. And again, moving up these games also helps some of the numbers in terms of pitching throws. Curveball inside, going to be a bouncer across second base. Shortstop going to come across the bag and throw it to first, making a nice connect. And that was Davis coming around second and firing to Venegas for out number 2. Shortstop coming behind the second base on that one. So 2 ground outs so far for the Eagles. I was talking about in terms of moving the game up from Friday, that means you got more time in between the next playoff series, so some players might be eligible earlier to pitch, but there is a pitch count here in New Mexico. Third in the order now, Jaden Hernandez, the catcher, as he waits the first pitch from Cozart. Curveball inside, a knuckler off the handle, gets right into the Carlsbad dugout. Looks like one of their coaches put his foot up and just kicked the ball away from hitting some players inside. A bunch of coaches are lined up in there as well. So catcher Hernandez, third in the order for the Eagles. Batting .385. He has 25 hits, 31 RBIs, the leader on the team, and 12 runs scored, 6 doubles and 5 home runs. So he's the tops in terms of knocking over the fence for the Eagles so far. 0-1 count, fastball. The other one coming off the handle, this to the left backstop, a dribbler. 0-2 count now with 2 foul balls for Jaden Hernandez. Cole Kester, the cleanup man, up next. Waggling the bat behind his right ear is Hernandez. Long wait here for Cozart as shift for the right, the catcher for Carter. Fastball, a little low, trying to get that outside corner, but it wasn't high enough for the ump's liking. That's why he shifted a little bit to that outside. Count now 1-2 to Hernandez. Kestner hoping to get a shot at swinging the bat here in just a second. Here comes a 1-2 fastball. Little check swing out towards right field. This thing looks like it's going to drop halfway back to right field. It'll be a double for Hernandez. Trying to chase it down was Espinda. He gets a good throw into second. Boy, almost got him too. Luckily, Hernandez just barely gets there. Kind of pulled up his brakes a little bit too quickly, and nice hurl from Espinda out there in right field. It took him a while to get it down, but then had a nice throw to second. But a double regardless for Hernandez. So getting a base runner for the Eagles. That will be the 7th double of the season for Hernandez. He'll now lead in that category, or tied with Taylor in that category. Mentioned Taylor was scratched right before the game started due to an injury. 2 down for the Eagles. Runner at second thanks to the double by Hernandez. Looking back at second is Cozart. Got a leadoff man, Hernandez, back there. Curveball and kind of brushing back Kestner, the first baseman for the Eagles, 4th in the order. Kestner batting .343, has 24 hits, 23 RBIs, and 21 runs, all in the 20s there. 6 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. Second on the team in the ones over the fence. 1 ball and no strikes. Dancing around Hernandez. Fastball, swing and a miss. Over the top was Kestner for the strike. Hernandez really trying to get the attention of Cozart as he keeps dancing around between second and third. Taking a few extra steps when the pitcher turns his head back to the home plate. Here's the 1-1. Curveball. Clips inside for the strike. Count goes to 1-2. Still 0-0 here, top of the first. Slated for 7. Should be here in the low 80s as we continue in this game tonight. Cozart peeking back at second. Turns and fires the fastball off the middle of the bat, and a quick shot over to second, caught in the air by Eloy Lopez. Didn't have to move much. He was moved in a little bit from second to the right and was able to snag that out of the air without even jumping for the 3rd and final out for the Eagles. So Hobbs did manage 1 hit. That was Hernandez's double. He was the man left on base at second. No runs come across. We head to the bottom of the first. Carlsbad at the plate. 0-0 your score here in Caveman Land. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back at Tom Forney Field here in Carlsbad, your Hobbs Eagles taking on the Cavemen here on a Tuesday night. A game tomorrow as well at Sportsman's Park. A reschedule that was set for Friday but moved up due to the weather for Wednesday. 5 o'clock pitch, 4:45 pregame show here on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube's Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Alan Udahara, the starting pitcher for the Eagles in this one. He's got a 3-2 record, 10th game of the season for him on the mound, and a 5.89 ERA. Looking at the order for the Cavemen, it'll be Eloy Lopez, Easy Lopez, Jaden Carter, and Wade Cozart. The pitcher, actually the cleanup man in this game. Don't see that very often. Hobbs getting their last warm-up throws here, and Udahara on the mound. Do have field turf here in Carlsbad. Do a real good job of making that look like dirt, though, around the bases there, but it is brown field turf. There is a dirt hill, as it is in most cases around the district. Although we did play on grass on Friday in Clovis. So Eli Lopez up. Wait for the first pitch from Udahara. He's the second baseman. Curveball inside. Clips the outside corner for the strike, as holding on it was Lopez. 14-10 record for the Cavemen. Your Eagles at 12-12. Showing bunt. Comes off the handle and goes foul to the Hobbs Eagles side on the left. Bouncing right to Coach Bowman, the pitching coach for the Eagles. He'll just take it back in and throw it to Boyle. Coach Boyle there inside the dugout. Umpire didn't want anything to do with it. Lopez takes a look over at third. Begehe, the third base coach. 0-2 count now to Eloy Lopez, the leadoff man. Curveball off the handle. This one's going foul to his coach outside the third base box. Going to roll up the side fence as well near the Eagle dugout. Udahara trying to sit down Lopez. Curveball. This one going high towards left field. Is going to back up Curtis for Hobbs. A couple of feet above the last line of defense there at the left wall as he gets back to the track and makes the catch. So that'll be a fly out for Lopez that started off for Carlsbad. Curtis doing a good job of shifting over. Thought he's going to have to back up a little bit more on that one, but he could tell the wind was keeping up there long enough for him to just shift just a bit. Easy Lopez now, the third baseman. Second in the order for the Cavemen. One down for Carlsbad, one of the lefties for the Blue Squad. We mentioned in the pregame show, both teams have 9 seniors on their rosters. So lots of guys with experience. Fastball, swing and a miss for Lopez for the strike. Once again, it's Kestner first, Dunlap second, who just made a switch to that position as Taylor was injured to start the game. Montez at third. Fastball, low and outside for ball one. Fuentes the shortstop. Hernandez behind the plate catcher, and left to right in the outfield, Curtis, Phillips, and Parrish. The only changeup was Dunlap and Montez, second and third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball at the end of the bat. Going to head towards left center. Going to go back deep towards the warning track. Does going to take a bounce. It goes over the wall. That'll be a double. And he's showing up some cheers back to his dugout there on the right side of the field. So a double for Lopez. Both teams have converted doubles so far. Of course, for the Eagles, it was Jaden Hernandez, third slot. Now Jaden Carter, the third slot for the Caveman, the catcher. No score on the board here with one down for the Cavemen on their home field. Carter's going to look over to coach there at third and see where he wants his ball placed. Last year, Eagles 2-4 record along with Clovis and Rosso. Everybody split against each other, and then Carlsbad goes 6-0. Curveball inside, Handler's shot. It's going to go back towards short. He's got to backpedal a little bit. Fuentes, a couple of steps back, one hands it. Sun was right in his face, able to make the catch, though. Kind of shifting towards left just a little bit out in the green area. So a fly out for Carter. That's bringing up Wade Cozart, the cleanup man and pitcher, another lefty for the Cavemen. We mentioned earlier, too, the #1 team in the state for strength of schedule. Hobbs at #2 in that category. So both teams putting a lot of good competition on the schedule before district got underway. Udahara with the curveball outside, sliding left to get the scoop is Hernandez behind the plate for the Eagles. Making sure that runner didn't get too greedy at second. Lopez after the double. Hobbs needing one more out to get out of this first inning with no score on the board. A little more longer delay now for Udahara to get the pitch call he wants from Hernandez. Wind up and the throw. Curveball. Barely misses outside for ball 2. 2-0 count now to Wade Cozart, fourth in the order. Connor Roberson up next, the DH. Originally for Hobbs, Montez would have been the DH, but since he got switched around a little bit because of Taylor's injury, he's now the third baseman. So he has to play some defense in this game. Here's the 2-0, curving inside this time, and oh boy, late call on that one. That was a little bit too close for comfort. They call the strike as Cozart tried to back away from it. Inside pitch there from Udahara. Now a 2-1 pitch count. Looks back at second to check the runner. Lopez, fastball outside. As Hernandez lets the ball drop to that third baseline there, and still just trying to mess with that runner's head just a bit. He gets back in time, though, does Lopez to second. Getting ahead of the count now is Kozar with a 3-1. Lets his bat rest on his left shoulder, does Kozart. Here comes the pitch from Udahara. Curveball inside off the handle and just barely foul. Almost takes out his first base coach there on the right side of the field. Had some good velocity on that one, just a little bit to the right. And boy, if that would have stayed fair, that would have been no way to handle that one for Kestner. A lot of velocity behind it. Good crank on the ball there for Kozart. Of course, pitcher versus pitcher right now. Full count now to Kozart as Udahara trying to get the out 3 with no runs coming across. Runners kind of dancing around a little bit. Fastball, this one head out towards right, shallow. He's got the run underneath it, does Parrish on the run, slides on his knees and makes a catch. Didn't get into the infield, but was getting close to it. That ball kind of stopped climbing and dropped, and he had to come underneath to get his legs down, and got to get some field turf burns on those knees after that one. So the fly out for Kozart to right shallow. And that'll be out number 3. Same situation as the Eagles had. They did get a hit, did Carlsbad. Left a man on second, the double by Lopez. No runs come across. We head to the top of the second. Hobbs 0, Carlsbad 0 with the Eagles at the plate in 60 seconds. Ready for the top of the second here in Carlsbad. Your Hobbs Eagles back at the plate. 0-0 your score. Top of the order, or top of the second, should say, Tristan Montez. He is the third baseman now. Was just going to be the DH, but now playing some defense as well. He is 5th in the order as he subbed for Taylor, who's out with a hand injury. Got notice of that just about a minute before the first pitch. Sophomore with the pitch coming from Kozart. Fastball outside for ball 1. Montez at the plate this season, batting .359. He has 23 hits. Fastball down the middle for the strike. He shook his head. He knew that was going to be a good one and took the strike on that. So 23 hits, 20 RBIs, and 14 runs scored. He has 6 doubles, tied for 3rd on the team, 1 triple, and 2 home runs. Fastball, a little low for ball 2. 2-1 count now to Tristan Montez. Parrish, Souter, Curtis, and Phillips ran out the order for the Eagles. Here comes the 2-1 from Kozart. Fastball off the end of the bat. Going to take a roll to short. Davis turns and fires. A kind of a high throw behind the first base and reaching out with a big stretch to make the catch was Venegas off the 6-3 for out number 1. The ground out for Montez. Luke Parrish now the right fielder. He's 6th in the order for the Eagles. Parrish comes in batting .283 with 13 hits, 3 RBIs, and 15 runs scored. Has 2 doubles and had his first home run recently. Of course, the right fielder for the Eagles. 1 down for Hobbs. Still a 0-0 ball game. Curveball inside off the handle. It's kind of a short, drifty one, and it's coming up for the second baseman. A couple of runs and catches it on the run. Lopez right behind the pitcher mound there for the fly out number 2 now for the Eagles with 2 down. That's going to bring up Jackson Souter. Souter was a replacement in this ball game after the Taylor injury. He is 7th in the order. Fastball, little flinch from Souter, a little low for the ball. Souter comes in at 133 this season on 6 hits, 7 RBIs, and 10 runs scored, 2 doubles and a homer. Got more RBIs than he does hits at this point, so due to some walks. Fastball high and outside for the ball. Good eye for Souter. Count to 2-0. Taking some time now, Cozart, as he covers his face with his glove. The windup and the throw. Curveball inside. Another little flinch from Souter. That'll be another ball. Souter not coming around on those pitches, and now has a 3-0 count, well ahead of the order here. Another lefty for the Eagles. Curtis and Phillips, 8th and 9th in the order for Hobbs. Curving inside for Cozart, and that one will be a strike. Souter kind of ratted out his shoulders on that one. I thought he was getting ready to take a jog down that first baseline and got the strike call instead. Quick return on the pitch, curving inside. Ooh, it hit off the bat. It goes foul behind the plate. They're going to say it was touched by the catcher, though. And taking a run down to first is Souter. So he's going to get the first base. As that ball did get a piece of the bat, but hit out of the catcher's glove. That was Carter behind the plate. And that will put Souter now at first. John Curtis, the left fielder, up at the plate. Batting .279, the lefty. Has 19 hits, 20 RBIs, and 13 runs scored, 6 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. Fastball outside for ball 1. Eagles trying to get some bats working here. Only had 5 hits against Clovis. Ironically, though, both teams had 5, and Clovis ended up winning just due to a lot of other things, such as strikeouts. They had some 5 errors for the Hobbs Eagle defense in that game, and 5-0 walk difference, too. Clovis getting 5 runners on because of that, and Hobbs 0. Curveball inside for the ball. 1-1 count now to Curtis. Runner at first. That is Souter. 2 outs, though. The force out would be at second for the Cavemen. Cozart turns and fires the fastball off the handle. Backhanded at first by Venegas. A couple steps off the base. Runs and tags and stomps that bag himself and gets the out. Boy, athletic play there by Venegas. So the ground out for Curtis to first, and that will end it for the Eagles. They leave 1 on base. No runs come across. We head to the bottom of the second. Carlsbad at the plate, 0-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Heading to the bottom of the second here in Carlsbad, your Hobbs Eagles and the Cavemen scoring nothing so far, 0-0. We're just getting the official scoring on that Souter play. That was a walk that was issued to him. A little bit of flinch. I thought it had hit the bat a little bit and might have got off the glove of the catcher, Carter, but that was called a walk, so that's why he got on first base. Didn't get around to second after that, and the Eagles got the ground out from Curtis to end it. So bottom of the second, Carlsbad at the plate. They went through 4 hitters in the first, and now it's Connor Robertson, the DH. Espinda, Herrera, Wright, and Davis, the final at the plate in the first go-around for Carlsbad. Both teams have a double so far. Nobody has made it to third yet, though. Udahara, Allen with the curveball inside for the ball as Robertson holds solid, looks over to coach at third. See if he's going to give him any ideas where he should be placing this one. Sun is definitely getting in the eyes of those outfielders. They're putting their gloves up in the air to block it out of their eyes. Curveball, swing and a miss for Roberson. Count goes to 1-1 now, the DH. Roswell and Clovis going at it in tonight's matchups too. Curveball inside, it's going to be yanked out towards left. A bouncer picked up off the one bounce by Curtis. He'll get it in after the single by Roberson. So second hit for the Carlsbad Cavemen. Runner at first now. Mitch Espinda now, the right fielder, will step up to the plate. Another lefty, so they got a ton of lefties on this team. Also a ton of seniors with 9. Mentioned in the pregame show, Hobbs currently second in district with 2-2 record, and the Clovis and Roswell 1-3. So they got Clovis biting at their heels just a little bit. Even Roswell, actually, they split with them in their 2-game stand. So trying to show a little bunt action was Espinda. Ball thrown to the outside, and he was kind of keeping the bat sucked in a little bit, and doesn't reach out for it. Takes the ball on the first pitch from Utahara. Carlsbad against Clovis and Roswell combined, 41 runs to 24, so 17 more runs combined versus Carlsbad, or versus Roswell and Clovis. Throw to first, not in time, to Kessner. Hobbs in their 2 matchups. They beat Clovis 26-15 in the combined games and 19-18 against Roswell. So 45 runs scored, 33 for their opponent. Curve it inside for ball 2. 2-0 count now to Mitch Espinda, the right fielder. No outs, 1 at first on the run for Roberson after the single, their second hit of the ball game. Utahara takes a quick peek over the shoulder, turns and fires. Another bunt show, curve inside. Pulled away from it was Espinda. Ball got loose from the glove of Hernandez, able to track it down, and gamesmanship as he kind of babied the ball up that first baseline just a little bit. See if that runner, Roberson, going to get off too much. And check it to Kessner, decide not to do it though. Another big leadoff for Roberson at first. Throw to first from Utahara. Sliding back quickly, face first is Roberson to the first bag. 3-0 count now to Mitch Espinda. Carlsbad 189 runs this season in the district, 184 for the Eagles, 5 less. Curveball down the middle for the strike. Carlsbad giving up 147 total runs. Hobbs 183, so there's the big difference right there as the runs given up. 36 more for the Eagles. Another bunt. It's going to be placed foul of the third baseline. Little dribbler scooped up by Hernandez. Count goes full. Actually, those numbers were for the overall games. District-wise, it was Carlsbad 41 runs, 24 up to this point. Hobbs with 41, exactly the same, but 37 given up. So 13 more runs to Roswell and Clovis than what Carlsbad gave up. Quick throw to first. That's about the third time this has happened to Espinda. He keeps, or actually Roberson, he keeps having to dive back into that first bag. No dust to worry about there with the field turf. Still a full count. Curve it inside. It's dropped, third strike, and have to chase it behind the plate. It's not going to be in time for Hernandez. So now runners at first and second for the Carlsbad Cavemen. Trying to inch something through here. Still scoreless in the bottom of the second. Listening live to HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Richie Herrera now. He is 7th in the order, the center fielder. There's one of the righties on the team now. Big leadoffs now for Carlsbad at first and second. Utahara gets the call he wants, looks back at second, checking the runner. Turns and fired. Another bunt showing. This one towards third. It goes foul quickly to the Hobbs Eagle dugout, chasing it down the third baseman, Montez. Again, Montez wasn't slated to start in that defensive position, but when the injury came from Taylor, Dunlap, who was the freshman at third, was moved over to second, and then Montez added to his DH role to third base. So a bunch of bunt opportunities here for Carlsbad, trying to get runners on. They would load the bases to get somebody on here, which would be the guy at the plate now, Herrera. Here's the windup for the throw. Another bunt attempt, throwing it outside. They're going to call the strike. He did come around on it just a bit. So count now is 0-2 to Herrera. Just trying to work the short ball here for Carlsbad's O. A little bit of wind blowing here. Udahara takes another peek back at second. Curveball, swing and a miss over the top was Herrera. He's going to go down on the strike. First K of the ball game for Udahara. That'll be out number one for the Cavemen. The force out at third with runners at first and second for the blue and white. Still scoreless in the bottom of the second. Again, 7 innings slated here at Tom Forney Field in Carlsbad. Brock Wright now the left fielder, 8th in the order for the Cavemen. Udahara with a deep sigh. Fastball, sliding right to get the catch down on the field turf was Hernandez. Making sure it didn't get through his legs there and was able to put a stop to it. Runners stay at their bases, first and second. Connor Robertson got a single, and Mitch Espinita had a dropped third strike, which got him to first, where he is now. 1 ball and no strikes. Udahara comes with a fastball, a little late swing, and it zings into the right backstop netting on foul territory. Mike Davis will be the last in the lineup for Carlsbad, the shortstop. Back at Sportsman's Park tomorrow night. That was a change in schedule from Friday, remember. 4:45 pregame, first pitch at 5. Curveball, check swing for Wright. Pulled out of it and gets a ball call low and inside. It will be senior night at Sportsman's Park, final home game of the season. And, of course, depending on where they sit right now, I mean, it doesn't look like they'd have a home series for the playoffs. So, big question mark. I doubt they'd have an opportunity to have a home game or a home series, best of 3 for the playoffs if they do get in with the 16-team field. Fastball underneath it big going towards left field. It looks like it's going over the wall, and there is a homer. It'll be a 3 RBI homer for Brock Wright. So 3 runs come across, 3-0 the score. First scoring of the ball game. That'll be the 3rd hit of the contest. Double, single, now a 3 RBI homer. And the team waiting for him at home plate as he dives over the top, goes flying in the air and lands in the pile there for the Cavemen, who are catching him in midair. Still just 1 out. Bases are not covered anymore after the home run. And now the score is 3-0. No team scored in the first inning, but 3 coming in the second for the Cavemen. Bottom of the order now, Mike Davis, the shortstop. Udahara with a deep sigh, the breath, and the throw. Curving inside near the shoelaces. Ooh, the strike call. Thought that one came down a little low that time. The umpire waited a second and got the strike. Quick return on the pitch. Curveball behind the back of Davis. Lost the throw on that one. Wrist well outside on the pitch. So the count now 1-1, evening up. Eli Lopez, E.Z. Lopez, and Jaden Carter at the top of the order for the Cavemen. Going to go through the second time through. Here's a 1-1. This time a fastball outside wide to the right for ball 2. Davis trying to get his hang back here. Has been throwing at both sides of the plate way off. Here comes a 2-1. Fastball outside and kind of extending the bat was Davis. They're going to say he did go across on it, and he waited a long time to poke that bat out, like he was doing some fencing on that one. Count evens up at 2-2. Here comes Udahara. Curveball inside for ball 3. Go to a full count now to Mike Davis. Just joined us, 3 RBI home run for Brock Wright, sending Roberson and Espindia to the plate, as well as Wright after the HR. Fastball, and barely getting a piece of it as he came through on the swing. Looked like he's about 178 on the angle, and then barely got a piece of it as it looked like the ball got past his bat that time. It stays at full count. Davis lucky on that one. Kind of bouncing around a little bit now, trying to get some mojo out there to make contact. Nobody on the bases at this point after the HR. Fastball outside, making him stretch a bit. Does get another. No, they're going to say he missed it. So strike three. I thought he might have got the end of the bat that time, but that will be out number 2 off the K. Second K issued by Udahara for the Cavemen offense. And that'll bring up the top of the order for the second time, Eloy Lopez, who flew to left back to start this ball game in the first inning. 2 down for the Cavemen. They lead 3-0 here at the bottom of the second. So I better get those runs up on our scoreboard here. Udahara comes with a curveball off the handle. It'll be a zinger towards the foul territory off the left wall. Bounces it near the Hobbs Eagle dugout. Coach Bowman's going to run out there in the left field to track it down. Actually, that's Coach Dunlap, excuse me. Of course, his son's out there on the defense down the second base. Normally plays third. Curveball, knee high. Little low for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1-1 for Lopez. Again, the 3 hits in the game for Carlsbad, a double in the first, single and home run in the second. Curveball outside the back. Again, haven't seen a pitcher do that close together. 2 curveballs behind the batter, and now that's going to cause Hernandez, the catcher, to run out and talk to Udahara to kind of settle him down just a bit. And gives him a swat on the left butt cheek there to motivate him a bit. Count 2-1 now to Eloy Lopez. Of course, EZ Lopez due up next, and he had that double back in the first. Got the hitting going for Carlsbad. They've registered 3 so far. Still no runners for the Cavemen. Udahara at the fastball. Off the end of the bat, going to go foul over the right backstop. Towards the football field behind us. Hit count 3-1. Favor of Carlsbad. Hobbs did get the 1 hit so far. The double for Hernandez. That was back in the first, though. Here's the 2-2. Curveball comes off the handle, and a dribbler out towards the Hobbs Eagle dugout. Hobbs getting a lot of those fouls over that way. Coach Boyle will take a little walk to help it out. Gets it back into his catcher, Hernandez. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball exclusive coverage on the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and the YouTube Hobbs Sports page. 1 game tonight, 1 tomorrow. Here's the 2-2 fastball outside. Ball 3, now a full count to Eloy Lopez. Congratulations to the Hobbs tennis programs, both the boys and girls, the district champs. Curveball inside. That'll be strike 3. Starting to jog was Eloy Lopez. Looked like it was near the knees, and he's not happy with the call, shaking his head, looking back at the umpire. But a K against Lopez. That's the 3rd K of the ball game. And your Hobbs Eagles did give up some runs, but shut down the final at bat. But the Cavemen did finish up with 2 hits in that bottom of the second. They had 3 runs come across thanks to the 3 RBI homer from Brock Wright, the single by Roberson. And they lead now 3-0 as we head to the top of the 3rd. Your Hobbs Eagles coming to the bat as they'll bring aboard Mr. Phillips, Carson Phillips, for his first time to swing. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Your Hobbs Eagles at the plate, trailing 3-0 here in the top of the third. Bottom of the order, first time at the plate, Carson Phillips, the center fielder. Phillips batting .288, has 17 hits, 5 RBIs, 23 runs scored, 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run. He's showing bunt. That'll be fouled off the end of the bat behind us here on the backstop. Out of play for Phillips. Phillips has a 36% on-base percentage. Of course, Eagles victims of a 3 RBI homer in this last second inning by Brock Wright. Fastball high from Cozart for the ball. Count now to 1-1 now to Phillips. Dunlap, Fuentes, and Hernandez. 1, 2, 3 in the order for the Eagles up next. Of course, Hernandez with the double. The only hit of the game so far for Hobbs. Fastball outside for ball 2, and nice move the glove there by Carter, trying to move it from right to left towards the middle of the plate to see if the up might bite on that one. Quick recycle, the pitch coming, fastball down the pike, swing and a miss. That'll make it a second strike look here for Phillips, 2-2 count. Steps out, comes back in the box quickly and waiting for the quick release now from Cozart. Curveball, check swing, and they're going to say out. Number 1 on the movement of the bat there is going to cost Phillips. He started to pull back on it, but too late. That'll be the first K of the game for Cozart against the Eagles batters. Top of the order for the second time now be Dunlap, who was going to be originally at the number 7 slot, but now moved up to 1 after Taylor got hurt right before the game got started. We had to make a change on the roster. Curveball inside, late swing, and a wobble over to Hobbs Eagle dugout left of the field. Dunlap grounded to second back in the first inning to start off the game. Fuentes, Hernandez, and Kestner, 2 through 4 in the order. 1 down, no runners on, 0-1 count. Cozart curveball, and shaving the chin of Dunlap for the ball. Eagles with the win could go 3-2 in district and hopefully get to 4-2. They'd have to win tomorrow night as well. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Dunlap. Good sides by that pitcher too, Cozart. Fastball down the left, the third base. Lizzy Lopez turns and fires a high shot, pulling his glove way up in the air. Venegas to pull it down. Got on the ladder just a bit. Didn't have to jump for it, but extended that arm well up in the air. Statue of Liberty catch there. Again off the throw from Easy Lopez. The ground out for Dunlap. He ground to second, ground to third, and now it's going to be Jason Fuentes, the shortstop. He grounded short to Davis back in the first. 2 down for the Eagles, trying to get the bats warmed up again. Had 5 hits against Clovis in game 2 on Friday. Got 1 here tonight, the double. Fastball, down the middle for the strike. Holding on it was Fuentes. Quickly coming back with the pitch. Cozart fastball. Another shot to third. Should be a routine throw for Lopez once again. Long stretch of the leg from behind for Venegas to reach out for the catch and the third out off the 5-3. So the Hobbs Eagles strike out, ground to third, and a ground also too short will finish up the top of the third. No hits, nobody on the bases, no runs scored. 3-0, Carlsbad. They'll come to the plate next. You're listening to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Colt 95.7 Facebook page. Carlsbad Cavemen back at the plate now here in the bottom of the third. Second in the order, E.Z. Lopez, a double to get their hits started. They have 3 hits so far for Carlsbad, 1 for the Eagles. Alan Udahara, the starter on the mound still for Hobbs. Carlsbad with a double, single, and 3 RBI homer for Brock Wright. Hobbs with a double for Hernandez. Curveball way outside of the left for Udahara for the ball. We've had some wild curveballs outside the backs of the righties, and now one of the lefties gets a long one out. Lopez again second in the order. Carter and Kozar third and fourth. Fastball just barely misses the outside corner for ball 2. 3 hits, 3 Ks so far for the Cavemen, yet to walk in this game. Here's the windup of the throw. Fastball down the middle for the strike. Holding on it was Lopez. Of course, 2 Lopez's, top first and second in the order for the Cavemen. 2-1. Curve outside for ball 3. Good eye for Lopez. Hits are kind of spaced out for the Cavemen in the second slot, the 5th, and the 8th. Curveball at the end of the bat. Can it go out towards left? I don't think it's going to stay fair. Maybe it does. Takes a bounce, hits the wall. Going to be knocked off the wall in the glove now of Curtis, and he's going to chuck it in, and it will be a double. So Lopez has 2 doubles to his name, 2 for 2 at the plate. That will be the 4th hit for the Cavemen. Looks like they might be switching out the run. Nope, they're just going to bring his equipment in. That'll be Lopez. Coach came out and got the equipment there that he was given back. Jaden Carter now third in the order. Flew to short. Kind of a shallow shot over to Fuentes back in the first. Hobbs down 3-0 here, bottom of the third. Ooh, another curveball outside the back again. This of Carter now. Hernandez, I kind of read that midway through the throw and got out there to make the catch and started to jump up to possibly chuck it to get the runner out, but I don't think that was a design play. Udahara takes a peek back at second to check on Lopez. Curveball, this one knee high, drops to the turf. Hernandez retrieves it, gets it back out to his pitcher, keeps the runner at second. Mentioned Carlsbad sitting at the number 6 slot in the Max Preps poll. Hobbs at number 11, didn't change from the end of last week. Here's the 2-0. Curveball outside the back again. And the runner is going to advance to third. And the walk issued as well. Or did he get hit? I didn't think that was 4 balls, but yeah, he got hit by pitch, I believe. So that will be putting Carter at first. The runner was stealing third, but they're going to send him back to second. That was Lopez. So runners at first and second now, no outs. Wade Kozart now, the pitcher, comes up. He flew to right for the last out of the first inning. I don't see any activity in the Eagles bullpen yet, but of course they got guys out there that also pitch that are starters at other positions tonight. Of course, we did lose one player, Taylor, Jaden Taylor, out with an injury right before the game started. Lefty Kozart waiting for Udahara's delivery here. Keeps looking back at second. Fastball outside for the ball. Count to 1-0. Connor Roberson, the 5th in the order, up next. He had a single to DH. Long delay now for Udahara. Continues to stare at second. Curveball off the handle. A bouncer jumping in the air, bringing it down as Kester bobbled it and barely stomps a base in time. He was thinking about throwing to second and then luckily decided to go to first and just barely beat the run of Kozart as he stomped on the base. That'll be the out for the Cavemen. Runners at second and third, though, as they advanced. And now Connor Roberson steps up. Mentioned he got the single to start the second. He is 5th in the order for the Cavemen. 14-10 record overall, 4-0 in district. Picked up the number 3 seed last year in the playoffs. Fastball floats through for the strike. Holding on it was Roberson. Again, kind of important for Eagles to try to get at least one win out of this series with Carlsbad this week, either today or tomorrow, because there's a lot of teams near the 500 mark in those 10 through 16 slots. Hobbs definitely has a little bit of advantage in terms of strength of schedule, second best in the 5A. Carlsbad at number 1 in that category, but still, there's a lot of teams that, even a couple of them have more wins than the Eagles, even though they might be ranked lower than Hobbs at this point. Here's the 0-1 curveball, knee high for the ball. Count goes to 1-1 to Espinda. Mitch Espinda, the right fielder, or correction, Connor Roberson, the DH. Again, 4 hits for the Cavemen. One of those in this third inning. Unihara fastball, swing and a miss for Roberson. Strike 2. Runner's going to have to get back to second. That's Carter. We'll have the pregame for you tomorrow at 4:45. The first pitch at 5 o'clock at Sportsman's Park. Game moved up from Friday. Just reminding everybody out there because of the weather possibilities on Friday. Here's the 1-2. Curveball. Golf swing. It gets a bounce off the glove of Hernandez. He was going to throw to third. Going to throw to first and just held the ball in the infield. I think he might have maybe turned his ankle a little bit, kind of limping out there. And indecision on the throws, and both runners get to where they need to be, first and third. So I think you have to give an error on that one because he didn't make a good decision to unload the baseball. Get shaking of the heads by our scorers, so I know got confirmation on that. Thank you. So Roberson gets on due to an error. So one down here is the Cavemen now with runners on all 3 bases. Unihara trying to dig himself out of a jam. Curveball outside for the ball as he pitches to Mitch Espinda, right fielder, who got an error back in the second to get on. So 2 errors been issued so far for the Eagles. 3-0, bottom of the third. Curveball outside left for ball 2. All 3 runs coming in the second inning off a 3 RBI homer by Brock Wright for the Cavemen. Espinda is 5th in the order for the blue and white. Fastball down the middle. Outside for ball. And a good stop sign put up there by Espinda, making sure his runner at third was not going to try to advance on that. Easy Lopez. He'd have been caught probably on a run down there between third and home. 1 down for Espinda. 3-0 counts. He can work a few pitches if he wants. Fastball. Hits the outside corner for the strike, so he just kind of watched that one come through. Cavemen trying to add on to a 3-0 lead here. Unihara down the middle, right to Kester, fires the second, and back for a double play. The ball's thrown behind third. That's going to score a couple of runs on the wild throw coming from second. As Dunlap having some trouble connecting to Kestner. So 2 runs come across. It'll make it 5-0. And the fielder's choice there for Espinda. So Lopez will score. And Jaden Carter comes across as well. So 5-0. 2 runs scored here in the bottom of the third for the Cavemen. Richie Herrera now, the center fielder, is up the plate. Does have a runner at first. Herrera struck out back in the first K of the ball game. Unihara's had 3 Ks so far in the game. Herrera's 7th in the order. Brock Wright, who hit that homer earlier, he's going to be a threat. And then Mike Davis, the 9th in the order for the second time coming up. Still 2 outs, though. Fastball, low pitch. Late rotation of the bat there by Herrera. It drops quickly off the plate for the foul ball and the strike. Force out at second for the Eagles defense. Game is slated for 7 here at Tom Forney Field in Carlsbad. Final 2 games of the regular season. 1 tomorrow night. Fastball, a little low for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1-1 to Herrera. Senior Latin ball clubs, both with 9 on the roster for each team. Fastball off the handle, going to go right over the top of us here behind center plate. No chance at any play by that one for Hernandez. The catcher, 1-2 count now to Herrera. Udahara with his 10th game of the year at 3-2 record, 5.89 ERA. Fastball, swing and a miss, and that'll be strike 3. And the third out as well. That will be also the 4th K of the ball game issued by Udahara and the 2nd for Herrera. But the Carlsbad Cavemen do manage to get 1 hit, 2 runs come across, and they leave 1 on. It's score now 5-0. Your Hobbs Eagles trailing. Got to get those bats moving in the 4th inning. They've got 1 hit. We'd like to add more as we come back live in the Hobbs Eagle Network. Top of the 4th inning, your Eagles trail 5-0 to Carlsbad. Still on the mound for the Cavemen, the starter Wade Cozart, the sophomore. Fastball down the middle, fouled off the right over the right backstop for Jaden Hernandez. 3rd in the order for the Eagles. Only hit of the ball game, a double. Eagles have had a strikeout and a walk besides that. Fastball low for ball 1, evens up the count at 1-1. Eagles have had a total of 5 groundouts to make it 6. Couple of flyouts and the 1K. Fastball, the sinker, comes down last second for the strike. Hernandez now with the 1-2 count. Got to dig himself out of this one. He's 3rd in the order. Cole Kester, the cleanup man, trying to get his first contact of the ball game. Here comes a 1-2. Curveball, yanked down to 3rd. Easy Lopez turns and fires and connects over to Venegas off the 5-3 for the out. So ground out for Hernandez. Cole Kester now flew to 2nd back in the 1st for the final out. Eagles just trying to find some ball here off the bat. They're having some issues. Last couple of ball games been kind of quiet with those 5 hits against Clovis on Friday. They did have, though, 19 in the first game at home at Sportsman's Park. So 24 hits compared to 19 for the Wildcats in those 2 games combined. Little curve action, floats to the outside for the strike. Holding on it was Kestner. Kestner went 2 for 7 in that series. 0 for 3 against Clovis in game on Friday. Curveball down low for the swing and a miss for Kestner. Count to 0-2 now. One of the heavy hitters for the Eagles trying to get some contact here. Sinker for Cozart, and this will be dropped. Throw to first in time, and that will be the out for the Eagles. Down 2 now. So now it's turn for Tristan Montez to step in, inserted into the defensive lineup after the injury to Taylor right before the game started. He ground to short back in the 2nd. Wade Cozart now getting the call he wants. His catcher slides left. Fastball comes off the handle and right to the backstop on the ground, right behind home plate. Definitely could see that ball is going to come towards the left there off the pitch as Carter was moving over just a bit left. Fifth in the order is Montez. He's a lefty. Fastball, late swing for the strike. Count to 0-2 now. Coach Boyle doesn't look too excited at this point and just doesn't see physical contact that he wants right now. That was a very late swing on that one. Another shift to the left for Carter. Fastball at the end of the bat. Going to head out towards left center. And kind of a zigzag waiting for the left field. He's got the shift over right. Makes the catch to see what the wind was doing first. As Wright comes up with the catch out in left center. So that'll be a fly out for Montez. Eagles with no hits, nobody on the bases, no runs come across. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and Carlsbad holding on to a 5-0 lead. Their offense comes to the plate next. Heading to the bottom of the fourth here in Carlsbad. Ty Friend here with you. Hobbs Eagle baseball coverage on HobbsAmerica.com, the YouTube Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Your Hobbs Eagles trail 5-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. Carlsbad at the plate. Guy that hit the 3 RBI homer, Brock Wright at the plate now. He is 8th in the order. Waits the pitch from Udahar, the starter, and hits him right in the thick of the back. He's had a lot of curves going outside the players on their backside. This one actually hits him, though. That'll be a base runner for the Cavemen here in the bottom of the fourth. Mike Davis, 9th in the order. Second time he's been at the plate. He struck out back in the second inning. One of the 4 Ks that Carlsbad has had in this ball game. Udahara staring him down now. Looks over at the runner right at first. Turns and fires, showing bunt. Ball comes out the end of the bat. Looks like it rolls foul right on that first baseline. Catcher running up, the Hernandez trying to pick it up there, but also the bat flew right into the area too, so kind of hard to dodge that to try to grab the ball, but foul regardless. So they've shown bunts, about 3 or 4 different guys at the plate have been doing that in this game, trying to get some base runners for the Cavemen. Throw to first. He is not going to be there in time. Kind of a ricochet action there for Kestner. Umpire was kind of in the way there. Looks like he might have got hit on that left wrist, kind of shaking it off there. Kestner's going to walk it up to the mound and give it back with a handoff to Udahara. Let the runner think about it just a bit right. Again, Mike Davis, 9th in the order. They go Lopez, and Carter. Eloy, Easy, and Jaden Carter. Lopez has a great game so far, 2 for 2 on a pair of doubles. Did score a run too. Showing bunt again, this off the end of the bat, but to the backstop behind home plate for the foul. Count to 0-2 now to Mike Davis. Udahara working on his 4th win of the season. It is 10th time at the mound for the Eagles. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball high, jumping out from behind the home plate was Hernandez. I think a little bit of theatrics there, just trying to keep the runner guessing what he was going to do with it, whether it was a wild one or not at all. He's just going to come down and throw hard. Big lead off at first for Davis. Another throw to first. Cole Kestner pulls it down, but runner back in time. Brock Wright. Those you haven't heard yet, game has been changed from Friday, the game 2 of this series, to tomorrow. 4:45 pregame, first pitch at 5 at Sportsman's Park. Ooh, he hits another one in the back, trying to show bunt again was Davis. Right in that middle number again. Oh, we've been updated here. Mr. Haston, the AD from Carlsbad, said the game will start at 4:30 tomorrow, so 4:15 pregame show. Changed because of the weather situation on Friday. So hit by pitch is Mike Davis. So 2 back-to-back back shots from Udahara as Wright and Davis now on bases with sore gifts, I guess you could say. Top of the order now for Carlsbad. Eloy Lopez 0 for 2, flew to left and struck out. No outs for the Cavemen, who lead 5-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Udahara looks back at second. None of his defenders back there, so he's going to turn and throw. Another bunt situation, a dribbler back to left of the mound. Udahara pulls it down, fires over to Kester at first to get the out. So Lopez will have to take a seat. First out for Carlsbad. Runners at second and third now for the blue and white, so they're in position to score, but they lead 5-0 already. Not the guy you want to have to pitch to in this situation. EZ Lopez, 2 doubles and a run scored, 2 for 2 at the plate. And I'm sure he's wanting to get an RBI out of this one of the lefties for the Cavemen. Double would score both runners if he got a third in a row. 1 out. Here comes Udahara. Fastball goes low and outside for the ball. Sun still right in the eyes of the Eagles, especially that infield on third and short. See them covering their eyes with their hands there every few often seconds here to try to block some of that sun. Udahara with a fastball low and outside for the ball. Scoring 3 in the second and 2 in the third for the Cavemen with that 5-0 lead. A total of 4 hits so far, including a 3 RBI homer from Brock Wright. Couple of doubles for Lopez, who's up now, and a single for Roberson. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Curve it inside. Oh, late strike call there. Count to 2-1. Carter and Cozart. Those two guys don't have a hit yet. Third and fourth in the order for the Cavemen. 14-10 record this season. Udahara with the curve outside for ball 3. So getting ahead of the count now is EZ Lopez. A walk would get him, his team, with a loaded bases situation. I think there'll probably be a timeout if that does happen for Coach Boyle. 3-1 pitch coming. Curveball. Clicks the outside corner for the strike. You tell Lopez knew that was coming and kept the bat solid for the strike. Full count now to EZ Lopez. Waggling the bat behind that left ear is Lopez. Udahara has 2 runners on his right side. Curve it inside. Golf swing right to the Carlsbad dugout. Hits the little wall in front and bounces to their first base coach. Trampoline style there. Full count still to Lopez. As Udahara wants to try to ruin his perfect 2 for 2 at the plate here. Get another ball brought in as Hernandez walks a few steps onto the infield and returns it back to Udahara. Force out at first for the Hobbs Eagle D, but they're going to have to be worried about these runners coming around first. Don't want them to add to the 5-0 lead. Udahara spying behind home plate to get the call from his catcher, Hernandez. Checks the runners. Turns and fires a fastball high. That is the walk. That'll be the first walk of the game for the Cavemen. The runners at all 3 bases. We'll see if there's going to be a timeout or not. Still just 1 out. Jaden Carter now, the catcher, third in the order. Flew to short and was hit by a pitch. He did score one of the runs. The 5th of the ball game. That's where they're at right now, 5-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Doubt you're going to see a bunt situation on this one. You see a lot of guys trying that here to get base runners, but now everything's loaded. Curveball hits the left outside shoulder of Carter, and that will also score a run. He has been hit twice in this ball game, and that's going to score a run. As coming across is Brock Wright. And the score goes to 6-0. That's going to bring out Coach Boyle. And usually when there's a sub going to be made, Boyle comes out. Bowman has not been out yet, the pitching coach, so I bet that's going to be it. He looked like he was pointing to the outfield, maybe bringing somebody in to pitch. Looks like it might be Parrish because Luke is the one he looks like he was pointing at in right field. And that will be it for Utahara. So unfortunately, he does give up 5 runs in this ball game. One of those a home run. And a total of 4 hits. The 3 RBI homer, a couple of doubles, and a single. So he'll leave after 4 1/3 inning. And we'll make sure who the pitcher is before we take the break here, is that will be a change. Okay, let me see. They're telling me it's going to be, I don't know if it's 18. I doubt Cope Greben would be out there. I think it's 8. I believe it was Luke Parrish coming from the right field. So Luke looks like he's got onto the mound here. And it looks like he has the ball in his glove. That's who it'll be. Luke Parrish, the right fielder, going to pitcher now. As the Hobbs Eagles trying to get themselves back in this. They got to get 2 outs to get out of this 4, trailing 7-0 or 6-0 after the run came across after a hit by pitch. We'll take a quick 60-second break after the warm-up for Parrish. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Pitching change made here in Carlsbad. Your Hobbs Eagles bring in Luke Parrish out of right field. Parrish comes in with a 3-2 record, the same as Utahara as the game started. 8th game of the year for Parrish on the mound. Very close in ERA, too, with Utahara 5.70, at least at the start of the game. Utahara was 5.89. So 3-2 record, as we said. Parrish out there on the mound. He's facing a 6-0 deficit after 1 run has come across after hit by pitch. Moved in a run for Brock Wright. Bases are still loaded now for Carlsbad, so big jam he's had to face. Parrish will throw a fastball outside for ball 1. They do send Cope Greben out to right field, so he'll be out there now facing some of that sun. 4 hits so far for the Cavemen, including the home run by Wright. Wade Cozart, the pitcher's on the plate at the plate for the Cavemen. Fastball hits the plate, wild pitch, and that's going to score another run. So adding insult to injury now. Batter will stay in the box. It's just a wild pitch, but a runner comes across. That'll be Mike Davis. In fact, there's been 3 hit batters in this bottom of the 4th inning, so definitely the tourniquet needs to be tightened just a bit here. Cozart stays at the plate. He's 0 for 2, flew to right and ground to first. 7-0 your score. 2 runs that come across here in the bottom of the 4th for the home team, Carlsbad. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Fastball outside for ball 3. Good eye for Cozart on all 3 pitches now. If he walks, that'll load the bases once again. Carlsbad 4-0 in district. Hobbs at 2-2. Curveball inside. Hernandez slides over to make sure it didn't go wild, but that will walk Cozart on the ball. So that will be the second walk of the ball game for the Cavemen. Connor Roberson comes in. He's fifth in the order for the Cavemen. He is 1 for 1, got on a single, actually 1 for 2, a single and an error in this game. Hobbs with a couple errors so far. Still a 7-0 ball game with 1 down. Here's the windup and the throw from Parrish. Fastball outside for ball 1. All runners loading the bases now. Easy Lopez at third, Jaden Carter at second, and Wade Cozart at first. All three of them getting on due to gifts. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Fastball sliding right for Hernandez is saved from going wild. That looked like it was way outside that time. Count goes to 1-1 to Roberson. He is fifth in the order for the Cavemen. Espinda, Herrera, Wright, and Davis to round out the order for the Cavemen for the 3rd time. They go that far. Here's the 1-1. Curveball down the pike for the strike, and holding on it was Roberson. Looked like that floated a little bit. Take a little bit more time now as Parrish. He's in relief of Udahara. Fastball bounces off the knees of Hernandez. That's going to have time for the runner to slide home, face first into cross home plate. No chance for Hernandez. Return it to Parrish, who was running hard to home plate to try to help out his teammate on the wild pitch. And that will score Jaden Carter. And that'll be the 3rd score of this 4th inning for Carlsbad, extending the lead to 8-0. Last year, these two teams played twice, of course. Hobbs losing 6-0 and 13-3. So Carlsbad 19-3 total in those 2 games. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball outside. Swing and a miss for Roberson. And that'll sit him down on a K. So the first K for Luke Parrish in this game. 5 overall for the Hobbs Eagle pitchers with Udahara involved before the switch up on the mound. So 2 down for the Eagle defense. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. An 8-0 ball game. Lefty coming in is Espinda. Got on due to an error in the 2nd. And a fielder's choice on his 2nd at bat. Fastball sinks quickly as it comes towards the plate for the strike, as Espinda had the stop sign on that one. Self-regulated. Looking back at 2nd is Parrish. Turns and fires a fastball. And they got a piece of it, did Espinda. The umpire comes out with the brush stroke on his hands there to make sure everybody knows that there was a piece. 0-2 count now on the strike to Espinda. 2 hits for Lopez, hit for Roberson, and home run for Wright so far. The 4 total for Carlsbad. Fastball outside, and lackluster swing at that one will be strike 3. And out number 3 as well. Well, lots of hit by pitches, 3 of them to get Carlsbad runners. On top of that, a couple of walks. No hits, though. They were able to score 3 runs. They leave 2 on base, though. We head to the top of the 5th. Offense needs to get juiced up here. Hobbs with just 1 hit. They trail 8-0 to Carlsbad. Back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Top of the 5th inning here, Hobbs Eagles in Carlsbad trailing 8-0. Eagles at the plate. Luke Parrish, who came in relief on the mound for the Eagles, back in the 2nd, flew to 2nd. Hobbs with 1 hit, a double for Jaden Hernandez all the way back to the 1st inning. Starting pitcher still out there, Wade Cozart, the sophomore for Carlsbad with the fastball, barely clips the outside corner for the strike. Parrish didn't like that one, kind of pirouetted after that and was shaking his head. Thought that was way outside. 3 runs in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fourth for Carlsbad. Fastball hit hard towards short. Oh, a sliding move, and dropping the ball at the last second was Davis. Looked like he had in his mitt there, but I think it was a zinger, and it just probably hit his hand pretty hard, even with the leather protecting it. So that'll keep him on the base. Cavemen going to get an error on that one, as he did drop the ball. But he had his body sprawled out there, facing towards third at the back of the brownfield turf in the base path. Just couldn't get the squeeze on the glove that he wanted. Looks like we'll bring in a runner here from the dugout. That'll be Hendricks Sullivan, the senior, will be running the base pass for Luke Parrish. Next up, the lefty for the Eagles, Jackson Souter. He was brought in right before the game started. He got a walk back in the second. Of course, that was when Taylor was subbed out right before the first pitch, like a minute or two before. Fastball right down the middle for Cozart for the strike. 0-1 count now to Souter. He's got the only walk of the ball game for the Hobbs Eagle O. Cozart ready to throw again, but taking a little time now. Takes a big breath, throws a curveball below the knees. Popped up behind the plate was Carter, the catcher, and getting ready to throw it down that first baseline, but held on to it. Count even up at 1-1. Correction, make that 2-1 after the ball. Eagles have yet to score in this ball game here in the top of the fifth. Fastball outside, little flinch there by Souter. Didn't go around on it for the ball. Count goes to 2-1. Be Curtis and Phillips to round out the order, 8th and 9th for the Eagles. Trying to get one of their first hits of the ball game. Here's the 2-1. Curveball inside, hit hard to first, stomping the base. Venegas tries to second, trying for a double play, but not in time. The runner gets there, Parrish. It's the ground out for Souter. Good reaction there by Venegas at first. That came firing at him pretty hard. Just went down to a knee and then jumped up, stomped the base, and threw to second, trying to get that second out. Was not able to get it. But one down after he got the first. And John Curtis now, 8th in the order, ground to first for the last out of the second inning. Trying to get something generated here. They do have that runner, Parrish, at second, as actually that's Hendricks came in on the bases for Parrish, the relief pitcher. Cozart looks back at him a couple of times at second, fires a fastball off the handle, going to hit the left backstop in foul territory behind home plate. Getting back with you tomorrow night. We'll be at 4:15 adjusted game time for the pregame show, 4:30 for the first pitch. No balls and a strike to Curtis. Cozart, fastball, showing bunt, tips it off the end of the bat to the left backstop for Curtis. Count now 0-2 to John, and then Carson Phillips going to have to try to come in here and keep some more runners on those bases. Oh, 2 count now to Curtis. Cozart trying to go to distance in this ball game. Fastball at the end of the bat. This one gets some more air on it, but it's going to go over the Hobbs Eagle dugout on the left side towards the parking lot. So that'll keep Curtis alive with the contact. Coach Boyle giving him some last-second instruction here about swinging away and trying to extend that out over the infield. Definitely want to keep it away from the slot between second and third. That's where your base runner is, Parrish, or correction, Sullivan. Long delay for Cozart, peeking at second. Fastball, get off the end of the bat, same spot over the Hobbs Eagle dugout left towards that bullpen area. Curtis not giving up easy on this last 0-2 pitch that he's been dealing with the last few times. Trying to keep the contact alive. One down for the Eagles. Runner at second once again is Sullivan. No pitch clock on this one. Took a long time. Curveball just barely misses outside. Popping up is Carter, sliding left and checking down on Sullivan there at second. Decided to hold on to the baseball. 1-2 count now after the ball. Little cloud cover over the sun here in Carlsbad in the last couple innings. Cooled off just a bit. 1-2 pitch. Fastball down the middle, low. Bobbled for a second. The steal is on. Throw to third in time, and then the tag out. Diving for third was Sullivan, courtesy runner, and he's going to be tagged out at third. Nice throw coming in there for Carlsbad. So nobody on the bases now for Hobbs. That was their first chance to knock on the door. Down 8-0 here in the top of the fifth. John Curtis is staying alive. 2-2 count after that second ball call. Cozart says no to the first pitch calls from his catcher, Carter. Fastball right down the middle, strike three, and there we go, back to back. Not the way you wanted to end the inning. Hobbs Eagles get on due to an error. Base runner thrown out at third. No hits, nobody gets to home, and we go to the bottom of the fifth. Carlsbad going to try to add on to their 8-0 lead here at their home Tom Forney Field in Carlsbad. We'll be back in 60 on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Bottom of the fifth here in Carlsbad. The Cavemen lead at home, 8-0. Hobbs offense really not getting things done in this one. They have just one hit, the double from Hernandez. Were walked once. That was Souter, who came in as a sub to get this game moving along. And then also 3 Ks in the contest. Eagles have had 3 errors so far. 8 of the 17 contacts with the ball have been groundouts by the Eagles in 17 at-bats. So more than half. Of course, also the 3 Ks on top of that. Top or bottom of the fifth. Carlsbad at the plate. Fastball barely misses outside for Parrish, the relief pitcher, to Richie Herrera, who's 0 for 2. He's got 2 of the 4 Ks so far. Or actually 5 Ks in this ball game. 6 Ks. Fastball outside, clips the corner for the strike. So 6 Ks again, 2 for Parrish and 4 for the starter. That was Udahara. Fastball outside for the ball. 2-1 count now to Richie Herrera. Curveball inside, brushing him back just a bit for the ball. Herrera 7th in the order. Wright and Davis due up next. Of course, Wright had the 3 RBI homer back in the second. Fastball got lost and went quickly to hit the plate, roll outside the third baseline. That'll be a walk issued to Herrera. That's the 3rd walk of the ball game for Carlsbad. First given up by Parrish. 8-0 here in the bottom of the fifth. We are slated for 7, so 2 more innings after this. Of course, might not go the full 7th if Hobbs can't get back in it to tie it up at the minimum. We're not there to that point yet. Brock Wright, 3 RBI homer, hit by a pitch. He's been on base both times, scored 2 runs. Curveball inside, cracks it hard, but it goes foul right over this. Bounces near the side fence. It takes a roll up the wall. Roswell, Clovis going at it tonight as well. Those teams at 1 and 3, so that's a critical matchup for them if they want to have a shot at possibly getting to that second slot. Hobbs currently at 2 and 2, 1 game ahead of them. All those teams. Hobbs is split with both of those teams. Fastball outside, a little outside enough for the umpire's dislike for the ball call. Eagles defeated Clovis 20-13, lost 6-2 in the second game. Beat Roswell 8-5, lost 13-11 in game 2. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curveball almost took the helmet off there of Wright. And He's having to readjust it after he steps out of the box. Gets back in, ready to go. Facing Luke Parrish, one of the 9 seniors for the Eagles. Says no to a couple pitch calls from Hernandez behind the plate. Turns and fires a fastball. Knuckler hits the handle on the base of the bat there and goes foul. But it's also said hit the plate first, so stopped before it even got towards that first base line. Gives up the count at 2-2 and no down for the Cavemen. Runner at first, a walk from Herrera. Right, Davis. A couple of guys been hit by a pitch in this game. They're back-to-back. Curve inside. Golf swing out towards right center. This might drop. And it comes a couple of drops away from the warning track. Pulled down in the center field by Phillips. He's got to chuck it in. That will be a double. Runner staying at third as well. It's been a while since we had a hit for Carlsbad. They've been kind of small ball and everything. So a double for Wright. Second hit in the game for him. 5th of the contest for the Cavemen. Herrera's at third, Wright's at second after the double, and Mike Davis now last in the order. He was hit by a pitch on his last at bat, did score a run. Also was struck out to start the game for him, at least in the second inning. Looks like it's time called for Coach McGahey here. Hernandez is going to go out and talk to Parrish for just a second. We're waiting to see who's going to be switched up here. Looks like they're going to have Riley Hernandez come in, and one of their 9 seniors, 6'1", 190. So Hernandez coming in for Davis. Davis was struck out once and was hit by the pitch. So Riley Davis, we mentioned the senior, plays quite a few different positions. Third, first. He's also righty on the mound. Then he'll pick up the 9th slot here in the order for the 3rd time to there so far tonight. We'll top the order here in just a second with no outs. Fastball down the middle. He's going to send it towards right center. Sliding from left to right is Phillips to make the catch. He's going to chuck it to short. As Fuentes going to try to stop any more advancement. One runner does score. Runner gets to third as well. So an RBI. And that's going to make it 9-0. Eloy Lopez will step up now. That was going down as a triple. Waiting to see what, I thought there was going to be discussing that, but it's a triple for Davis. That'll be the 6th hit of the ball game. Again, the RBI scoring Herrera. Do have Brock Wright at third, or correction, Davis at third. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, ball was caught out in the outfield, my bad. Sack fly for the RBI. Now they're going to challenge it. Coach Boyle wants to throw to second to see if the base was touched, and they're going to say, nope, nothing wrong there, so they're not going to bring somebody back or have the out there. So the fly was out, and then the sack fly is what I was meaning to say, with the score to run. So sack for Davis, sack RBI. 9-0 your score. In favor of the home team, Carlsbad. Their first run here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the windup for the throw from Parrish. Fastball low for ball 1. Pitch into Eloy Lopez. He is 0 for 3. Flew to left, struck out, and ground to the pitcher. Runner at third. Fastball goes low and outside for ball 2. Easy Lopez in the second slot. Productive day so far with all 3 times on base, couple of doubles and a walk and a run. Curveball inside off the handle. It'll take a roll to third. Backhanding it for the Eagles, and then called foul there was Montez. Good job of getting that hand. He had to go around the runner there and put a backhand on the ball. And the last second call was a foul by the third base umpire. Nice to have 3 umps again. We had 3 in the second Clovis game on Friday. Second game in a row that's happened. I don't think before that we've had very many of a 3-set combo there. 2-1 count now to Eloy Lopez. Fastball down the middle. Oh, late strike call there. I think Lopez was too happy about that, shaking his head. Count goes to 2-2. One down for the Eagle defense. Runner at third for Carlsbad. Parrish returns with a fastball outside for ball 3. Full count now to Eloy Lopez, top of the order for the 4th time for the Cavemen. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and the U2 Hobbs Sports page. Here's the windup of the throw for Parrish. Curveball hits the handle, going to roll down the first base line, almost a bunt situation there. And the runner's going to get it out and all the way to first. Place it right in this perfect spot, not even halfway up the first baseline, more towards the pitching mound. So that'll be a single for Lopez. Just a good timing shot there, and field turf kind of caught the ball. That won't score a runner, though. That'll keep Davis at third. Second in the order, E.Z. Lopez. Again, he is 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles, a run scored, and a walk on base all 3 times. One down, and an 8 or make it 9-0 lead for the Cavemen here in the bottom of the 5th. Parrish to the fastball outside for ball 1. Carter and Cozart, 3 and 4 in the order. Neither one of those guys has a hit yet, but Carter's been hit by a ball twice, so he's been on base 2 times. Curveball outside and low for ball 2. Cozart's picked up a walk, the starter on the mound for Carlsbad. 2 balls and no strikes to Lopez. Curveball, and that's going to keep on the ground, but it's going to hit quickly foul of the right wall next to the Carlsbad dugout. We get you tomorrow again at Sportsman's Park for the 2nd game of this series. Was going to be on Friday because of weather. They moved it up. Tomorrow at 4:15 is the pregame, 4:30. Keep reminding myself, change of the game time there. Curveball inside. Did it hit him or not? Look like it hit him off the hip. So they're going to get that one hit by pitch as Lopez.
Bringing up the catcher, number 14, Jaden Carter.
That's a 3rd hit by pitch Eagles have issued in this ball game. A couple to Carter, 1 to Lopez. Oh, actually, that's more than that. That's 4. So 4 hit by pitch. Another time called. Coach Boyle going to go out and talk to Parrish, and in comes the infield. It's not going to be Coach Bowman. Usually when we see Boyle come out there, it's going to be exchange baseball, and he does take it from Parrish. Parrish is going to exit and wait to see what's going to happen on the next call here. Looks like they're shifting some outfielders. I think they're going to move, looks like Curtis is being moved from left maybe to center. Yeah, looks like Curtis is going to go to center. That might mean Phillips has come in to pitch. We'll have to wait and see. Still getting some guys coming in and out here as the mound is full of Hobbs Eagles. They trail 9-0 here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. Meeting of the minds going on here. Trying to check to see who the sub coming in at left. We already told you there was a move over from left to right. That was Curtis going to center. Of course, I forgot my binoculars today, so we're going to make sure we confirm some of these numbers. This will be the 3rd batter for the Eagles, 2 in relief. I believe that's Carson Phillips. We mentioned him coming from center. Yep, he will be the pitcher in this 3rd rotation here. Phillips is 1-1 on the season, his 5th time on the mound, and 5.42 ERA. So he's going to do the warm-ups. Carson Phillips, center fielder, now pitcher for the Eagles, 3rd on the mound. 9-0 as Carlsbad leads here in the bottom of the 5th. We'll be back in 60. Carson Phillips, the new pitcher for the Eagles. The third had been on the mound today. Alan Udahara, Luke Parrish, and Carson Phillips now. So second in relief. Eagles trail 9-0 here in the bottom of the fifth with 1 out. 3 runs in the second, 2 runs in the third, 3 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth for the leading Carlsbad Cavemen. Jaden Carter now flew to short, was hit by a pitch twice and scored 2 runs after one of each of those hit by pitches. Phillips takes a peek back at the runner at second. There's loaded bases. Fastball down the middle. Whoa, now finally a strike call. So takes a little bit of time on some of those and gets it there. 0-1 count now to Carter. He's third in the order for the Cavemen. Wade Cozart, the starter on the mound, will be the cleanup man once again. He's looking for his first hit of the game. 2 guys with multiple hits. Brock Wright with 2 and Lopez with 2. Fastball sinks low for ball 1. Of course, Lopez with a couple of doubles. Home run and double for Brock Wright and a single for Roberson. 6 hits so far in this ball game for Carlsbad. Fastball, knuckler off the hand, will go to the right backstop in foul territory. Hobbs currently second in district, Carlsbad number 1, and Clovis and Roswell battling at 1 and 3 now as they play 2 games this week as well tonight, and not sure when the next game will be for them. Here's the 1-2 curveball, drops and hits the base, rolls into the infield, and chasing it down to the first baseline is Phillips from the mound. Runners are going to stay where they're at on all 3 bases loaded at this point. No harm done on that one. Of course, Hobbs Lady Eagles currently in top of the district for softball. Beat Carlsbad a couple of games the other night. So that's going to be a tight one down to the wire as they finish up their regular season as well. Definitely going to be both teams probably in the playoffs with no questions. Here's a 2-2. Fastball low and outside. Good save. Hernandez to throw his leg protectors up there and knock that ball down to keep it underneath him. Didn't want to get it through. That would definitely have scored a run on a wild pitch. Full count now to Jaden Carter. He just wants to make contact and not be hit by the ball. 2 in a row. Hit in the back, actually back and shoulder. Curveball inside, swing and a miss. That should be it. Strike 3 for Carter. Third strikeout of the ball game for, or actually fifth for the Hobbs Eagle pitching. Excuse me. Keep forgetting we got more than one pitcher in there and not bringing my numbers down the way they should be. So 5 Ks, but 9 runs on the board for the Cavemen. 2 outs. Wade Cozart now up. Flew to right, ground to first, and walked, so he's been on 1 of 3 times. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss over the top for Cozart. Another lefty for the Cavemen. Still runners on all 3 bases. Definitely don't want to leave them there if you're a Caveman fan. Here comes the windup in the throw. Curveball. High and outside for the ball. Count to 1-1. Again, 6 hits for the Cavemen. Just 1 for the Eagles. A double from Jaden Hernandez. Might be one of the worst offensive productions of the season for Hobbs at this point. Curveball outside for the ball. Count goes to 2-1 now to Cozart. He is the cleanup man. Connor Roberson up next. He's had a single. Rest of that bat on his left shoulder is Cozart. Taking some time out on the mound, Carson Phillips, the second reliever. Fastball, keeps it outside too, and over the top is Cozart for the strike on the swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wade Cozart and 2 down. Any base with a stomp, and that will be it for the 3rd out. And Hobbs got to get those bats moving for the last 2 innings of this ball game. Curveball outside, gets over the head of Hernandez, bounces for a second. Thought he could maybe be able to track it and maybe go stomp home to stop the runner, but cannot get it on the wild pitch, and that'll score a run.
And that's ball game.
And that will actually close it out. Boy, I forgot about the 10-run mercy roll. Excuse me on that one. Still thinking about 2 more innings after this, and not going to be the case. So 10-0 after the wild pitch ends it, and not a great offensive performance for the Hobbs Eagles, as scoring that last run was Brock Wright. So a 1-hit performance for the Eagles, and a homer and several others scoring opportunities for the Cavemen. We'll take a quick 3-minute break, get you all the numbers here. Final score, Carlsbad 10. The Hobbs Eagles nothing. A mercy roll shutout here in 5 innings. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on Cool 95.7's Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and the U2 Hobbs Sports page. Welcome back live here to Tom Forney Field in Carlsbad. Unfortunately, your Hobbs Eagles lose game 1 of the 2-game set this week. 10-0 in a mercy roll win in 5 innings. The scoring numbers for Carlsbad: 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth, and 2 in the fifth. A wild pitch finished the game. Bases were loaded, and a final run came home for the Cavemen. Not a good offensive day for your Hobbs Eagles. Just 1 hit in the contest, and they were at the plate official at-bats in this one. 16. They were 1 of 16 from the plate. Of course, they had some other things in there that weren't added in, but including the walk from Souter. Only guy that got the hit was Jaden Hernandez, 1 of 2. He had a double in the ball game. And the only walk, as I mentioned, was Jackson Souter. So basically, not much going on. There was an error that did get Luke Parrish on, but other than that, no offensive production whatsoever for the Eagles in this ball game. So 1 hit, probably the low of the season. On the other side of the coin, the Carlsbad Cavemen, perfect day for EZ Lopez. He went 2 for 2, doubles, 2 of those, and a run scored. Ed got a walk as well, was hit by a pitch, so he was on base all 4 times. He was one of the 2 guys that got multiple hits in this game. Brock Wright, of course, a 3 RBI home run in the second inning. Also got on with a double. He got hit by a pitch. He was on base all 3 times and had 3 runs scored, including that home run that helped him around the base as well. Eloy Lopez went 1 for 4 with a single. Also getting a hit, Connor Roberson, 1 for 3, was a single in the game. Got on due to an error as well. And that's about it. So not complete domination in the hitting game, but they just got enough that they needed. And way too many times where they hit by pitches is what got more base runners. And then the big home run really got things rocking for Carlsbad in that second inning. So again, 6 hits They were walked a few times in this game. Wade Cozart, the pitcher, picked up one. Easy Lopez had one as well. And also Richie Herrera. So they get a total of 3 walks in the contest. K's in this ball game, a total of 5 in the game. A couple for Herrera, and then just some single walks or single strikeouts throughout the rest of the lineup. This was the 5th district championship in a row for the Carlsbad Cavemen. They go to 5-0. They can make it 6-0 tomorrow. They win at Sportsman's Park tomorrow. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles, pretty important game for Hobbs at this point. They dropped to under 500 at 12-13 overall and 2-3 in district. Now, basically, we got another matchup tonight and tomorrow, too, Clovis and Roswell. Those two teams are 1-3, and you got to remember, they split with the Eagles. So they're trying to at least match the record of their nemesis right now, Hobbs. Clovis and Roswell, both of those 1-3 records could get the same record right now if they win tonight. And then, of course, they got another game tomorrow or maybe later in the week. We're moving our game up from Friday to tomorrow because of weather. So Hobbs right now 12-13 on the season, under 500, and 2-3 in district. Carlsbad improves to 5-0 and 15-10 overall. Going really quickly to remind you who pitched in this ball game. Going the distance, Wade Cozart, so he gets the W, the sophomore for Carlsbad. Eagles go through 3 pitchers. Alan Udahara, the starter. Luke Parrish in the first backup spot in relief. And then Carson Phillips didn't get much time. The game was over before he knew it, and that was the 3rd pitcher of the ball game. Once again, final score 10-0 as Carlsbad wins the district championship on their home field. We will have that game tomorrow. That was a reschedule from Friday. 4:15 pregame show, 4:30 first pitch. Again, we'll have that at Sportsman's Park tomorrow at home. Final game of the season and senior night as well. Catch the action on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. And that will be a wrap for the regular season tomorrow. Then we'll find out over the weekend if the Eagles can get themselves a spot in the 16-team field for the playoffs. Again, 10-0 your final. Thanks for joining us here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Thanks to Tiffany Stuber and Evie Stuber back to the stage for all the technical help. I'm Ty Friend. Have a great rest of a Tuesday night out there.